James Kelly. Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Right? The best leaders are the ones who actually follow from behind and just nudge the people where to go. So, if we move on from compassion, this is my favorite word, relatableness. It's my favorite word because if you type it out on Word, there will always be a red squiggly line underneath it. Because it's not real, but I'll make it real. And I use it as a noun because, to me, these are a type of person. Now, this concept comes from a famous researcher called Deci and Ryan. Deci and Ryan came up with this theory called self-determination theory. And they came up with 3 macro themes that drive intrinsic motivation. Now, any of you guys that work in your organizations will say extrinsic, intrinsic. Typically, extrinsic is financial for most of us. That's what organizations give us, or days off, or whatever. But intrinsic, that's when the work gets done. Intrinsic is when you are there to go to bat. It takes up 3 parts for intrinsic motivation. 1, purpose. When purpose is there, people will follow, people will lead, people will go through walls. 2 is mastery. When someone masters something through their own space, their own way, their own methods, they take ownership. If you could think about a time that you've had mastery, you've owned it. You've done it. So purpose, mastery. The next one is relatedness, which is where this was born from. Relatedness is about being part of something greater than yourself. When you see yourself as something greater than yourself, you're more loyal. You keep hearing the themes I keep coming back to. Loyal, more trust, more respect. And so this idea of relatableness is creating what I call micro moments of meaning. And the leaders that I interviewed across my podcast had the ability to relate to either the admin, all the way up to the C-suite, middle management, and everything in between. And it's those leaders that seem to have the largest impact on the people around them because they met the people that they worked with where they were at, right? So if I'm talking to the janitor, I'm going to talk to him about where he is at. And one of the things that I've learned over my life and through talking to these leaders is those micro moments of meaning can have a macro impact on the people that you're talking to in that moment. If I'm a CEO taking time to speak with the admin about her life, the power that gives her about you as a leader is so impactful as an individual. And so I'm a huge proponent of the idea of micro moments. So there are 2 ways that I say you do that best. And I have a list in my book of other ways. The first one is a no-brainer to me nowadays, is put the phone down, show respect. Too often we're in a meeting, everyone has their computer open, they're typing away, checking emails, searching on scores for cricket or whatever other sport you're into, and never actually listening to what's happening in the room. So now we're back to compassion, listen with intent. Integrity, you're showing up, you're being honest. You have purpose. And so I say put technology away in those moments. When you're talking to somebody, give them the respect. There's nothing worse to be at a dinner and someone's checking their phone, knowing they're not listening to you, knowing they don't care. It's so disrespectful. The other tactic I use when I meet someone for the first time is called mirroring. So anyone in improv may know this, but the idea of mirroring is kind of following what they do. When you follow what someone else is doing and how they stand and how they sit and how they use their arms, it brings a level of comfortability and trust right away. If you're trying to create a micro moment of meaning, you have to create trust that you're there for them and you have intent. Now again, we're still talking about leadership, and many of you guys might be thinking, how the hell do you actually do this in an organization? This doesn't even seem remotely real. But I argue differently. Because if we keep doing what is being done, that is the definition of insanity, right? Because we're getting the same results. All right.